What's going on, guys? In this video we are going to see shorthand if-else statement. Usually when we have if-else statement, what we put if statement first, then we put a else statement, and then we write the code, right? But there's another way to do it, but this only work only for like small codes, like one line code, something like this. Now let's go ahead and see the general pattern. So in this one, what we have to have is we have to have a test. For example, something has to be true or false. So if it's true, so whatever the test we are putting here, and after that we have to put a question mark, and if it's true, it's going to print out the true code. And then if it's false, so before like else, this mean like in the shorthand method, this means else. After that, the false code, we put the false code, and if it's true, it's going to print this whatever here, it's going to print this one out. And if it's false, it's going to print whatever here. It's like if this is true, if the test is true, it's going to print this one. If it's not true, it's going to print this one. So it's similar to if-else statement. Now let's go ahead and see the code for this so you can see it clearly. Now let's go ahead and say, let's say we are going to create a computer game. In this computer game, we are going to decide the team, like we are going to assign a team based on their last name. Let's go ahead and create the code for that. So let's start with the last name. So I'm going to create a character type of variable because name is character, right? So we have to create character type of variable. So let's say last name. I name it as last name, and I'm going to assign an array because last name we have to store it somewhere. So we are going to assign an array. Now usually the last name doesn't go beyond 20, so let's assign 20 letters for last name. And here we are going to end this right here, and we are going to give a prompt to the user because the user is going to enter the last name. Based on that, we are going to decide the team. Okay, so first we are going to give a prompt to the user. So whenever user see the screen, it's going to ask the user to enter your last name. So we give a printf statement. In that printf statement, we ask the user to enter your last name. Okay, last name, and we are going to leave a space. In the next line, the user will enter the name. So we put a \n for that new line, and then we finish this one with a semicolon, and then we are going to put a scanf statement. In this scanf, the user is going to input the last name. Okay, so let's erase this one, and here we are going to store this one somewhere. We are going to store it in %s because s is string. It works same as character because string is list of like a bunch of character is string, right? So we can put %s for string, and it's going to store this string in whatever the user input, that's going to be the string, and it's going to store that string somewhere. So it's going to store in last name because that's the name we have given right here. So we have to put that one right here, and we don't put the ampersand sign for this last name because this is the array. This is an array. If it's a variable, for example, if it's integer or anything else, we have to put ampersand in front. Since this is an array, we don't have to put that. Okay, and we finish this one with a semicolon. Now we are going to create the if-else statement in this pattern. This is the pattern we saw. This is the shorthand pattern. Now we are going to create the if-else statement based on this pattern. And remember, this only works for like simple codes, like one line code, something like that. Now let's go ahead and see the example. So let's say last name, and in programming we always start with 0. 0 is the first beginning for whatever the letter user is going to input some name. So whatever the first letter is, that's going to be in 0 place. And for example, my name is Nagarasa. My N is 0 and A is 1 and G is 2. So it goes like that. It's always start counting from 0. So that's why for the first letter we put 0. And similar to numbers in C language, we can compare the letters. For example, B is greater than A and C is greater than D, something like that. So we are going to put something like if whatever the user inputting, whatever the last name the user input, if it's less than M, it's going to assign a team. Okay, So if it's less than m mean, for example, L is less than m, and whatever the letters before that is less than m. And also capital small letters matter. So if the user enter capital letter only, it works, otherwise it doesn't work. So this is, and after that we saw that after this test, this is our test. After this test we had to put a question mark, and also we had to finish this one with a bracket right here, and we put a question mark, and after the question mark we had to write the true code. So if the whatever the user entering the last name, if the first letter, that is 0 is the first letter of the last name, and if it's less than m, we are going to assign a team. So we are going to say printf, we are going to give a printf statement for that. Let's say if the letter is less than m, we are going to assign them in a blue team. So let's create this one. So if the user is less than, if the user's last name is less than m, he is going to be in blue team. And else, for else we put this one, okay, else mean if the name is greater than that one, we are going to put the user in a red team. Printf, and we are going to put the user in a red team. Okay, and we finish this one with a semicolon, and this extra is unnecessary, and we put a semicolon right here, and that's it. Now it should work. Now let's go ahead and try this one and see what we get. For example, my last name starts with N, so I'm going to put N right here and enter, and it's assigning red team because N is greater than M. Okay, so that's how it works. And this is one way to do this thing. For example, if you put another name, let's say A, if you put A right here, it's going to assign blue team because it's true. Like if the last name is less than M, it's going to print the first one. That's the true statement because this is the general pattern. So it's going to print the true statement, that's blue team. Okay, and that's how it works. Now let's see another code. Let's try another code. In this code we are going to do the same thing, but in this one, let's get rid of this one. In English language, you know that when we have 0 friend, we call them friends. So let's say I have 0, but for this one we call them friends. But if we have 1 friend, we call friend. I have 1 friend. And if we have 2 friends, we call them friends again, right? So this is why English language is confusing, because it changes all the time. Now for this one I put backslash because this is not a code, so I put backslash. Now we are going to create a code that's going to decide to print friends or friend based on their input. Like if the person say he has 87 or like more than 1 friend, it's going to print like if it's not equal to 1 friend, it's going to print friends, and otherwise it's going to print friend. Like if it's 1 friend, it's going to print friend, and if it's more than or less 0, it's going to print friends. Okay, now let's go ahead and create that. So first I'm going to create integer type of variable because this is a number, we are dealing with number, so this is going to be integer type of variable. So let's call this one integer friends, and then after that we are going to give a printf statement. And here I have and since this is an integer type of variable, we have to store in %d, like the input is going to be %d, right? %d is for integer, %f is for float, %c is for character. So this is going to be %d right here, and friend, and here we are going to put %s for string. And then next we are going to put friends right here, and the condition here we are going to have like we are going to create, like, if you see the previous one, we have to have a condition. If it's true, it's going to print the first one. If it's not true, it's going to print the second one. It's like if else statement. Okay, so the condition we are going to give here is friends, and not equal to is like this sign and equal. So this is not equal to 1. So if it's not equal to 1, what we are going to have is we are going to print s. So before that we have to put a question mark, and if it's true it's going to print s. If it's not true, that is else, like this. If it's not true, it's going to print a blank space. So we can put a blank explanation like this double quote sign. Okay, now let's go ahead and run this one. Now integer friends, I have to assign a number. So first I have to put some number. Let's say I have 87 friends. 87 is not equal to 1, so it should print I have 87 friends. Now let's go ahead and run this one and see what we get. Okay, here it's printing 87 friends, but if I put 1, because it shouldn't be equal to 1. If it's 1, it goes under false statement. So if I print this one, it should print friend. See, I have 1 friend. So that's how we can use if-else statement in shorthand method, but it only works if you have 1 line of code or something like that. Okay, I hope this helps. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you want to use these codes, if you want to try these codes, it's in my blogger. Go ahead and check my blogger. See you next time.